Hi, fifth grade parents. Welcome to the tutor session for Progyms that is geared specifically to you. Wanted to basically describe the differences between the fourth grade Progym assignments and the ones that you will be getting this year with a fifth grade student. For those of you that are new to TMS, if your student did not go through fourth grade with us, you may want to go back and watch the fourth grade tutor session just to get an idea of what the kids were learning and maybe the method that we followed and the goals of our fourth grade writing curriculum. But for the rest of you, let's jump into fifth grade. So we're going to continue this year with a lot of the same things that we did in fourth grade, in that the students will still be given a short piece of text and they will be asked to read it, retell it, use a thesaurus, add description, but there's a few key differences that are going to make this year a little bit, have them dig a little deeper, I guess, so to speak. So the first difference is going to be that in addition to outlining and retelling and then rewriting the story in their own words, there's going to be a section on their assignments where they're asked to summarize or paraphrase. This is just to help them learn to condense their ideas so that they recognize that there is indeed a difference between paraphrasing or writing a short summary and then actually retelling the entire story in detail. So we want to give them practice discerning the difference between the two, mainly because it helps them identify what are the key, most important parts of the story. So that's the first difference. The second difference is going to be in the actual text that we use. So in fourth grade, all of the texts were fables. They're familiar, they're short, they're pretty easy to understand, and they're pretty easy to retell. Once they get to fifth grade, the selections are still going to be short, but we're moving on to narratives, which means that they will be given a piece of text that is about a particular individual or an event that happened, and they will be asked to retell it again in their own words, but this time they're probably going to have to reread the text several times to really understand. So for example, in fourth grade, they're doing The Pitcher and the Crow, and it's easy and it's straightforward and some of them have heard it. But for fifth grade, the first Progym is The Capture of Nathan Hale. Well, the students may be familiar with Nathan Hale. They may have heard about him. They may know some facts about him, but the particular narrative that's written might be something that's new. So we're kind of branching out into slightly more unfamiliar text while still keeping with the idea that we want it fairly short so that the kids can comprehend. So that's the second difference. Then the third difference would be in the type of description that we're having the children and the students do. So in fourth grade, when we wanted them to employ the use of a thesaurus and create some more interesting vocabulary choices for their story, we would put the words in bold print. So here's the lesson I showed for fourth grade. And I've circled them. Anything that we wanted the students to change, we identified for them in the assignment. So phrases were underlined and words that were supposed to be changed to better words were in bold print. We do away with that in fifth grade in that we want the students to be using a thesaurus and we want them to be changing sentences, but we want to give them some freedom as to how they go about that. So they're going to be given directions to go back and find what they think are maybe boring or repetitive, redundant word choices in the text, and they get to choose which ones they want to change. That the same holds true for the sentences. So they'll be given a type of description. You'll notice those Greek and Latin words that were at the end of the Progyms. We still have those down. That's all teaching them to employ description within rhetoric. So we're kind of using those vocabulary words that would maybe simply mean describe water or describe a tree or describe someone's face. But rather than telling them by underlining exactly where in the story we're talking about, we might tell them to describe something and they have to find where they think is the best place to add that piece of description. So it's just causing them, again, to take a little bit more ownership of the retelling of the story and add their description in a way that's purposeful, in a way that makes sense to them. So those are the biggest differences. The very last one I want to talk about is this use of sentence play strategies. So this is something that will happen as the year goes on. You may not have seen anything in the Progyms yet, but it's coming. And there's a list of these. It says sentence play strategies. There's a list of these on the 5th grade Humane Letters homepage for you to print, and you can start using it now. Just because the assignment may not reference it just yet, it will soon. So if you want to start familiarizing your student with these terms, you can go ahead and do that at any point. But there are 11 sentence play strategies, and each strategy just kind of helps give the kids a framework, a little bit of direction for how to improve the quality of their sentences so that they're not using the same types of phrases over and over and over again. So it might say, flip the order of your sentence. It might tell you to take 2 shorter sentences and combine them to make a longer one so that it's not sounding so choppy. It gives a more fluent read for the reader. It might tell you to begin with an adverb that ends in ly, or to begin with a prepositional phrase. So just ideas for the student to consider when they're going back, because a lot of times they'll be thinking, oh, I'm adding description by saying that the man walked through the forest quickly. But they forget that you can emphasize different words by the order that you have. So you could choose to say, quickly, the man walked through the forest, and it kind of lends itself to more level of suspense that's not there if you just say the man walked through the forest quickly. So those are the biggest differences. We're also hoping that at this point that students, they can still type or handwrite, but we would encourage them if they have not done any typing so far, like in 4th grade, we would encourage that they attempt that in 5th grade, that they begin to start independently typing on their own, even if it's not the entire piece, or even if it's not every Progym. We're hoping that they'll kind of move towards that as the year progresses. So other than that, everything should be the same in terms of the format. There's still instructions on exactly how to turn it in, the order of the papers. But if you have any questions, let us know. But wanted to at least make sure that you all knew the difference between 4th grade and this, so that you could be prepared, what to expect, how's it going to look different. So, all right, that's it.